Okay guys, we're at Tucson Police Department, Team 1 jurisdiction, and we're going to come here to get some questions answered and to inform them of some operations of what we are doing. So, those of you that are having problems sharing videos, sharing our posts and everything like that, I just had someone actually contact me. I did last night, so you know, if you've been messaging me, I just went through and erased all my messages. Now all my messages are answered because I'm able to control them as they're coming in. Reporters, here's the thing is, I'm getting, look, we're at telemedia, no, but all right, this is what we're going to do real quick before we go in here with Team 1, because I just sent Officer Acosta a message to give them a heads up that I'm getting ready to come in. This is what we're going to do with all these journalists, all you NBC, all you top journalists, you news anchors and everything. This is what we're going to offer you, okay? If you want to know what's going on and what really happening, then you're allowed to come down and you volunteer for 1 week. You go out and do a post. I'm going to put you out on search and rescue. I'm going to take you to the individuals, the hundreds that we had walk through that camp, that'll tell you it is what it is. I'm going to introduce you to the experts that'll tell you it is what it is, okay? And then you're going to be able to, we're going to show you every single one, and we're going to give you the opportunity. But the only way you're going to get the opportunity to even talk to me is if you come down and you do 1 week's volunteer service, and your grass is going to be in the heat with us, and you're going to be busting through those fields, and you're going to have to report because we're going to put you right where these trails are. So if you want to talk to us so desperately and you want to try to find some way to discredit us, gates wide open, my friends. You're more than welcome to come down. Now we're getting ready to go into our teams. We're getting ready to roll up into Team 1. And we want to ask our local law enforcement some follow-up questions about the site. And in addition, we want to let them know about certain operations we're doing so that everyone's on the same page and we don't have nothing to hide. Captain Schrader or Lieutenant Parker or someone from Top Brass, please. This is Lewis Arthur with Veterans on Patrol. Lewis Arthur. VOP. While we're waiting, don't think for a second ISIS isn't crossing up through this corridor either. So the NYPD memorial, that's pretty powerful. Hey, if you come down to Tucson, man, we love these guys. That's where that flag flew. This is one of the reasons why we've always really had a good relationship with this team division in Tucson. But there are a lot of veterans on the office, and they're in our area, and they see all the great things we do at pulling the homeless vets off the streets.
So that you can see the blue stripe.
Now, they didn't know I was coming. I did call and leave a message with Acosta, but his phone didn't answer. So I'm telling you right now, I just barely did that so I can say I gave them notice, but I didn't really want them to know I was coming. So what we want to see is video footage of the cadaver dog that went through the property. We want to see credentials that actually mark that dog as an actual cadaver dog. We want to verify whether or not the property was bulldozed or if the tank was removed. And we're pretty sure from what we've heard, the Tucson Police Department isn't secure in the property, but now our watchers observed their patrol unit cars patrolling through there last night. So we're going to verify all the information to make sure what we're being told is true and get you guys the actual facts of what happened. And we're going to try to prove that they did what they said they did, because we're definitely not taking anyone's word for it. They literally destroyed a whole scene, and their experts lied to everyone. And just so you know why we do this, we got teams out in the hot desert doing their job. So yes, we're at the Tucson Police Department, Team 1. And we understand the Tucson Police Department's short of staff. We've always said that. So, and it's not so much as give them a break. We're just giving them notice, and we believe their hands are completely tied as it is. So. Well, if we're sitting here all day waiting, we're sitting here all day waiting. That doesn't mean we don't have teams out searching. So our search and rescue is still going. And that's the great thing about having all the people that's come down so far. And you know, a majority of our new volunteers are people who've toured that camp. They went out and saw for themselves. We got Lieutenant Parker coming out here.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good.
I'm looking to see if I recognize any of these other characters.
No, these are, well, you might know a few of them. Most of these are individuals who went and saw that camp for themselves.
Oh, you could bring the comfort dog at least. That would be helpful. So what's going on?
Okay, so do you guys have any footage that shows that the cadaver dog went through that area, that camp?
That's a great question, because I know that the cadaver dogs come from DOC.
Mm-hmm.
We have cadaver dogs.
And that,
So I'm not sure that they have cameras, and I don't know which one of our officers went with them when the dog was there.
will you be able to find out which officer that went with him when the dog was there and see if his body camera was on and that they actually had footage of the cadaver dog going through? So people don't just have to, Right now, we're not taking anyone's word for anything.
Yeah, no, I get that.
We want to make sure that they brought out an actual cadaver dog. We're not saying that you guys would be part of that.
Well, if we set it up, I'm telling you that we have them there.
Okay.
And we set it up.
Alright, well, we want to know if there's footage, and we want to see the cadaver dog footage, and then what we're asking for is for public transparency is certification with that cadaver dog, with footage of that cadaver dog already doing this type of work, so we can put the same dog at the same scene, operating in the same fashion, so then there's no one that's able to say that a cadaver dog didn't go there and TPD was lying. Either way, that doesn't affect our area because they just searched a small area. So it's not going to affect our operation.
Well, and I can tell you, I mean, had they found something, obviously we'd still be there,
Yeah.
we'd still be searching. So it's my understanding, and I don't have any specific knowledge, that they didn't find anything there. So if there is a video, I don't see why it wouldn't be able to be released through a FOIA.
Okay.
Because
we
otherwise,
have to file a FOIA for the public to know.
yeah, to see the video. Anybody would, even the media would have to go down and file a FOIA.
So let's get a million FOIAs filed.
To get any reports, to get any videos, to get any audio, any of that stuff.
We want people, they're going to be going behind, we want people fact checking.
Yeah.
Now, before we go to the next one,
So hold on, let's make sure I get this right. So, which TPD officer was with the cadaver dog as
Yes.
searched, and did they have?
cameras, did they record the actual search? Did they document and record? And then the cadaver dog's credentials, videos of it being trained.
You have to check with DOC on that.
We'll do this. So that is from DOC. The cadaver dog came from
I'm pretty
DOC.
sure, because that's the only ones that I know if they have those bloodhounds that search. I can double check and make sure.
Yeah, we need to know where it came from. Now, is TPD still securing that property? Because we were told last night that the unit had actually went in, drove, looked around, and came out. But we have another source inside that works that says that jurisdiction security or that's been handed over and TPD isn't doing security at the property.
So I know that we were still there through what, Monday, I think? You left when, Sunday night or Monday morning?
Monday.
So I would say shortly after that, I believe that we turn it over to the company that owns it. Now, I know that they're supposed to go through there and with city code enforcement and reinforce the fence or anything that's down to prevent people from coming back on the property. But I believe once we were done with it and the dog did a search, then we turned it back over to the company that owns the property.
Okay, now we were told that the entire site was bulldozed. Now they are here for any testing or just to check.
I don't have any knowledge of that.
Do you know where we can figure out that who would make that order? You guys didn't make the order then. You guys handed the scene back over to them. So Lieutenant or Captain Schrader said he was going to get me out. That was one of those things he was going to argue with CMEX for. And that was part of the agreement we were making when we were trying just to give you guys a chance to get that cell and the other stuff. We also want to follow up with the evidence that was collected that night Captain Schrader went out.
Right, and all of the stuff that you turned over to us was given to the SORT detectives. Did he explain what that is, the sex offender
Yes.
registry tracking detectives? So they have that to forensically check it for any evidence.
So when you guys made a statement that although it's the government experts, the people experts are saying that's just a homeless camp, that it's not a human trafficking camp. But TPD officer, I believe it was Hawkins, stated, but the case is still open. So that does mean that you guys have evidence and sex offender trafficking agencies can go look and see if any of these clothing items match the missing kids or anything, right?
So like I said, any of the stuff that you gave to them, they have that and they're getting it checked.
Okay.
So until they get either some kind of a return on it, I guess technically, I mean, the investigation would still be open. I mean, they can't close it until they know for a fact whether or not that those things hold any evidentiary value. And again, they'll have to wait until the forensics are done. I don't know how long that takes. That's outside the realm of anything that I do. You know, with the crime lab, you know, that's their office, that's their shop. So that's what they do. Do we agree to have those start to go back after camp was bulldozed, you said?
Yes, we're wondering.
Because it seems like I remember hearing that city code was going to go out there, and that I think it was city code was going to go lay that off to get rid of any brush or to bulldoze it when you say bulldoze.
Yeah.
But I don't know for sure.
See, I don't know, and someone's reported it, so we're just trying to figure out, because I don't want to say they did if they didn't.
Right.
And we went down to see, but we really can't see, and we're not going to go back onto the property per your agreement.
Yeah.
So
that, I'm not sure, and I have not gone down there. I have not gone down there. The only footage I've seen of it is from anything that was posted through social media, from your live streaming or from whatever KM9 posted or whatever. So I've not gone down there. Okay, so who was with the cadaver dog when it was searched? Did they have their body worn camera on? Agreement to have you come back down there after it was bulldozed so that you can see that the camp is bulldozed?
he said that he would work with CMEX and that they would bring me down when it was being dismantled. That way I could not only see it, but that they were going to be taking it apart. Which is kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted them to take custody of it, but I wasn't thinking CMEX would be doing that. I thought that we would have someone from the FBI, DHS, or even Border Patrol or ICE out there looking at that. Now, Lieutenant Parker, honestly, with all what our group's done, we've been here in the city a long time. Do you see the way I'm operating right now? So I believe that that's exactly the opposite of what the government experts say there is. You guys understand? I believe that is a sex game.
Yes.
Okay. And do you think in your heart that I would go out and want to put forth all this effort if I didn't think that we can actually connect a huge bunch of dots and help and maybe try to intercede and interrupt this? Am I good at interrupting the dope trafficking and blowing up the entire system when we get in to pull the addicts off the streets, like in the park? Are our tactics effective? Whether or not they're approvable, but are they effective? Do they actually
First of all, I would say that they're not always approvable.
Yes,
you and I have had many conversations about
I understand.
That I appreciate the fact that you want to provide a security service to a neighborhood, but I also agree that you can't be a vigilante,
Yes.
and that you can't be putting your hands on people, that a neighborhood watch, which is what you said that you wanted to do, would go out, see something that looks suspicious or criminal in nature, and then call the police to come and address that. That's not always been the way that it's gone. And again, like I said, I've told you many times, I don't want you guys to be a vigilante, but I do understand that you guys want to provide security. As far as the camp goes, honestly, having not been there, do I agree that you believe that it was a sex camp? I agree that you believe that. Am I completely convinced that that's the case? I'm not.
I haven't had a chance to see it.
I haven't had a chance to see it, and I can't say firsthand. However, I will say that the SWORD detectives, the child sex detectives who came out, even the officers who came out there, they've looked at it. And I would tell you that they don't necessarily agree with the same, they don't come to the same conclusion that you do. So do I think that they're wrong and that you're right, or that you're wrong and they're right? I'm not saying one way or the other, but...
what about the experts that we had for the first 6 days before they came out? Craig Salman Sawyer brought out experts. These are SEALs and special forces, people who've done trafficking. What about all the what about the dozens of human trafficking victims?
The question, how are they experts?
Because they've been doing this their entire life. That's what they do. KGUN 9 interviewed several experts. We have teams that track border. They've been doing this 5, 10, 20 years. They have a track record of being able to isolate corridors. Their fruits speak for themselves. Those are our experts. And these are people who not only served in the government, but they're prior law enforcement. So it'd be like you, when you got out, you took your expertise, you know that. Well, we're going to take your word for it. These are experts who came in with trafficking, and they went out independently, and they tracked every drop point where they're being dropped off on I-19, how they've been crossing over and utilizing that property. They showed media. They went out, we've shown video footages. We had our own experts come out. Not one person walked out of that camp and came up and told us that that wasn't sick and that wasn't related to children, and that this was definitely tied to something bigger.
Let me ask you this, and I probably know the answer to this, and I'm not trying to be argumentative, but the experts that you brought, did they provide statements to our detectives?
Well, your detectives weren't out there, and FBI didn't come out there. DHS, they did to the media, and they ran their own documents, and they shot their own footage and explained what it was. Mm-hmm. I would ask you to reach out to Saul Mann. You know what happened to his daughter here, Craig Sawyer. Just look him up, Craig Sawyer, Saul Mann. Okay, they're doing vets for child rescue. They came out with experts. All right, no one listened to them. No one wants to talk to them.
But the detectives went out on Friday and Saturday, right?
Yeah, but they're coming out 6 days after we've had to send out so many people just to show them what was happening.
But we didn't get contacted. The first I heard of the fact that you were even down there was Friday afternoon.
No,
we
there was
had
a
an
police
officer go out
report
on
for
Wednesday night or
Tuesday night.
That was Tuesday.
Because I stayed all night on top of the tower and they didn't know we were there and we watched.
Okay. And that was Officer Mendoza that went out there on
Yes.
Tuesday night. Okay. I didn't realize that was Tuesday for some reason. I was thinking that was Thursday.
And so it's Tuesday, and then you guys didn't get back out to Friday. We had hundreds and hundreds of people that went and saw that camp. And we can take you and meet from the reservations on. We had people that are Mexican here. We had people volunteering that are from Native American. They've all come and seen that, and they all have kids, and they're all locals. And they're out there volunteering right now, searching the desert, making sure we don't have any other areas or camps like that, where there are restraints on trees and little other kind of
Let me
buckets.
ask you this, for future reference, because I know that you go out to the desert and you're looking for homeless vets that you can bring back to Camp Bravo so you can get them plugged into services. Totally understand that. But let me ask you this. If you thought that there was evidentiary value, do you see that there's a concern that you would bring hundreds of people through this camp that could potentially then now be destroying evidence that we might collect that might help us solve a case, if in fact this truly is a sex camp?
Yeah, exactly. But when I make calls and TPD comes and they just take pictures at nighttime, and the officers were real nervous going down there too, and you can sense, you know, and it's like when I see that and then I see no action and I see an unsecured scene. And I stay up there for 11 hours and I see nothing going, but I see people coming and moving. That's not law enforcement. It's no one securing the scene. All right? And we're so serious. Why would I stay in 11 hours in a 200-foot tower all night watching over that scene if I didn't think it needed to be secured? Why would I call DHS? Why would I call Sheriff Napier? You need to get out here. We didn't want the federal government or any agencies after they refused to come out and help for 3 days. And after 3 days of me getting frustrated, what do? Fine, bye. Federal government, now you can't come. We want Sheriff Napier to come. He doesn't show up. Okay, you can't come. We reached out and begged. So I had no choice but make sure everyone saw it as soon as possible, because things like this, if they're tied to what we're believing they are with 100%, otherwise we wouldn't be doing this, then we want to make sure enough people see it before people can bulldoze a dirty secret, so to speak. And that's just honest, me being honest with you.
But I'm saying,
and that's my protection.
From a crime scene point of view.
Yeah, why wasn't
there 100 people through there? Then in my mind,
what do I do
damage
at that point?
Can be done.
If I can't prove that this is what it is,
and
the police won't secure it, what do I do?
But then again, I said, so were your experts there, and did they meet with detectives, talk to the detectives?
There was no detectives coming out. We were calling. We had people coming there all the time.
The detectives did go out. That's what I'm saying.
At the very end.
Okay. But
the
experts didn't. They didn't.
Not during all the time we were calling for help, and our experts were there. And if they could have sat down and talked, and maybe both sides would talk together, there are some confusions related to that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So,
were your experts willing to be available to give a statement?
Oh yeah. Yes, they were. They were available. They're available now.
And when you.
So if you're watching this right now, you can have your guys talk.
But did you provide their contact information to the detectives when they came out?
There is no detectives that's come and even talked to me once. I have not had one detective come and talk to me personally.
Detectives were there on Friday and Saturday.
And they did not talk to me.
Okay.
Only one came up and talked to me was Captain Strader. We were on a live video. He came out and shook my hand. I told him my plan. I said, I'm taking my teams out and we're going to check the desert.
So at any point in time during that whole week that you were there, did any of the contact information, the names of your experts was given to TPD so that we could follow up?
No, because TPD wasn't out there. TPD didn't come out until, as soon as they dug up that knife, and that wasn't a planned knife, and we're on a live video, and the next thing you know, state police takes over. They detain 2 of my guys for trespassing, even though they're on a public right-of-way outside of private property. And that's illegal,
Well, it's DPS, that has nothing to do with us, but
the image,
you know why they were called there, right?
I know that, but look.
Why were they called there?
Huh?
Why were they called there? Why was DPS called there?
I don't know.
Well, I just asked you, you said you knew.
I don't know.
DPS was called down there, as my understanding is because people driving south on I-19 saw 2 dudes up on the billboard with ARs. So they went down there to investigate.
2 dudes on the billboard with ARs.
Yeah.
There was no one ever up on the billboards.
Okay. Well, it's my understanding, because again, I'm listening to this through the phone, is that they were up on this billboard, which is kind of what caught the attention, which is why DPS went down.
Oh, okay.
That's my understanding.
But PD and the sheriff's and people were already down and they went down, and DPS still chose to detain those 2 guys that weren't up on.
I don't have any power over whatever they do. That was my
But can
understanding.
you say, okay, let's say that this is all just blown out and misunderstood, and it's just conspiracy, and there's no such thing as child sex trafficking and all this other stuff on a grand scale. Can you see how all these actions, the way they were taking the government's inaction and everything else, would lead all these people who believe this that yes, something stinks? Can you look, just step back and look for a minute?
Well, from my perspective,
Okay.
you called on Tuesday.
Yes.
You called the local authority, your government, your local government, and they responded.
Yes.
Okay.
And then they left, and there was no one there to secure a scene that we said definitely children were trafficked in, definitely tied restraints. And they went through with the video and shot pictures, so they had our statement. With our statement, and we are the foremost experts. Who knows homeless camps better than me? We go out there, I found thousands of them. The city, when they're trying to track people down, who do they send out? They send out VOP. So you have the foremost expert in our city on homeless camps sitting there making a report to PD saying this is not a homeless camp, this is tied to sex trafficking, child pornography, and the cartels are using it too. And they take pictures and then they feel all creeped out and they leave, and that's it. They didn't even make us leave. And I told them I was going to stand up there and watch it. I said, you know, they said a detective would be out in the morning, and no detective came the next morning. So then we started calling the federal government, and for 3 days we're blowing up their phones, and we're asking everybody to call and get out to secure the scene. That's how it went down. Okay? And that's not a homeless camp. I'm just letting you know.
Well, and so in the meantime, what I understand is that the people who built that camp and the bunker, and the lady whose name was in there, or the child was in there, the detectives have spoken to all of those folks, and they admit that they built it because they have a soft spot in their heart for homeless, or not for homeless, I'm sorry, for the people that are coming out from Mexico, and they wanted to give them some shelter. But it's my understanding that all of those people who either built the camp or have lived in that camp have been interviewed.
Okay. And there's nothing. Is there an investigation that's still ongoing, or are they saying this is closed? That's why I'm
Well,
so
no,
wondering.
as far as I know, it's still open because we've
Okay.
collected
Because it
everything
is
that
still
you gave
open.
us. Everything that you
Not
gave us,
everything.
they have.
Oh, okay, but everything that you have, they have.
Everything that you gave us, we have, and we're having forensically checked.
Okay.
So are you saying that there's more that you've not given us?
There's stuff all over out there. I told Captain straight. I said no one would come get it, so we've got stuff buried. We buried our own stuff out there. There's different clothes and shoes and stuff like that because no one would come get the evidence. If I had hundreds of clothings and toys and bracelets and earrings, why aren't we? That's why we got everything over at Bravo now. We're laying everything out so people we can have the footage go through, and any parent missing a kid, maybe that shirt matches their son, maybe those shoes matches their daughter, maybe that bracelet their aunt got them. You don't know unless we show the public what we have, and no one wanted to secure it. No one wanted to pull it out and say it. And the only way to know whether it is or isn't is to prove us wrong, and that's why we wanted the evidence out. We were fully confident if all this stuff would have got out, that the public would have been able to look at these items, and there's hundreds of them, that at least some mother or father or grand or brother, someone's going to notice their child.
Well, let me ask you this, and I'm just asking because you're saying that you're an expert on homeless camps, and I've been to quite a few. I've been doing this for 20 years now. Would you say, is it fair to say that in homeless camps that you've been to that are now maybe abandoned or no longer being used are full of old garbage and things that have been discarded and left behind?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's definitely.
So it's entirely possible that of those 100 things that you collected, there may be some evidence. I agree that there may be some evidence. Okay, but I would imagine some of that stuff is just garbage things that were discarded.
But this was, and when I gave them, this is what I honestly believe, from what I know, and from when we had the people come out to look at it. Sawyer came out in the middle of the night, we found it, and we had him walk through it. What I believe is, this isn't just people that are helping human trafficking across the border, okay? This is also tied to a pedophilia ring where little children have been out there. Now, there was a bunch of computer software installations from HP and everything else, all these disks, where you would be uploading photo editors and everything else out there, installing this software. You have, and what we're requesting is, and we want everyone who's in Washington to know, is if there is child pornography out there, look for child pornography that's going to have the background of those trees. Just prove us wrong. Have any experts, actually FBI, anyone who just start researching. Don't say this isn't until they've done their due
Other than
diligence.
the straps, which I can see would look suspicious, what other factual evidence do you have that that there absolutely is victims who were sexually tortured or whatever?
There's a gentleman from the reservation who came up. He's on a live video. He identified the guy who built it, and his statement is when he came walking through one time, he had 4 dogs out around the camp. He had a gun. He was threatened and told to leave. And he said, and this is done on a live video, and then he took people from the reservation.
That guy was threatened?
Yes, by the guy who built it, who had a gun, the cowboy. Okay, and this is a local guy who's from the reservation. Then he took them over to another old camp, he said, where they used to run traffic through there. And we didn't even know about that one. He took them up to one further north. Now that's on a live video.
Right.
That's on a live video.
Like evidence, like factual evidence that there's people that are being sexually tortured or whatever in the camp. Other than the straps that looks suspicious.
You have a mattress that's bent over in a perfect position and has what looks like jizz. Did they take that? Did they DNA test that? Did they do anything to make sure that wasn't semen that was on there? Okay?
Right, but again, we don't, I guess, from my perspective, and this is top, like from the very beginning, if you don't have a victim, what do you investigate? You know what I mean? Like, I can agree with you that it may look suspicious. I would walk in there and be like, oh, looks like some twisted stuff is happening here. But if you don't actually have a victim, a child, or now maybe a teenager who says, when I was 5, I was here, and this happened to me. You know what I mean? So I guess, we
don't know until you guys get all the evidence out there, and maybe someone will come forward. Maybe someone will know, because that's been operating more than 4 months. So.
Right. But I guess, so we don't have any factual evidence. We're supposing that these things are occurring here because of the way that it looked and all the stuff that you guys found in there.
We're not supposing, we're coming to a complete conclusion. We can't find no other. Do you think I wouldn't look for another explanation? Do you think I really want us? Do you think as busy as I am going through just trying to yank our homeless off the streets, do you think I really wanted to add this huge thing that's even dangerous? Come on, you know how dangerous this is? I mean, you know as well as I do, and everyone is volunteering for this particular search and rescue as it relates to this human trafficking camp that we know what it is taking a huge risk, especially knowing that we're right, that the people that don't want this stuff to be discovered, we didn't get help for 6 days. And I'm just being honest, I don't know what to do. I don't know, I can't trust my government. We screamed and begged for 6 days. We're trespassing, trying to hold down a crime scene and then after 6-7 days, the experts come out and say there's no evidence of human trafficking. After we've had hundreds of people come through, we've had dozens of human trafficking victims come through and say, yes, I've been trapped on trees like that. These are rape trees that we see south of the border and we see in our own city and it's in our own backyard. And these are children. At the end of the day, we should make absolutely sure without fact that no child is being tied to that tree, that had pictures taken of them to be raped, that no child is being trafficked. We should make absolute fact that those different car seats and everything else doesn't belong to someone who had their child abducted. And to simply ignore it doesn't make any sense unless it's something they don't want to be discovered. I can't figure out why it would be ignored like that.
Well,
can we at least get this? And I know we're going to disagree on that. And what I'm going to do is, and any of my teams that are going out searching the deserts as they're scouting out, anywhere that's in your area, we will let you know. And you do know I'm not going to be sending out full-blown armed guys trying to scare everybody.
Well, I don't know that.
You do, okay, but that's when we have to. Okay, we've had to. We're pushing. Yes, well, we're pushing against the dope dealers. You know how much money's in that car?
I understand that.
Okay, well, they got guns too.
As a neighborhood watch, like I said, if you guys would see something that you thought was suspicious or criminal in nature, that you would call us and let us address it.
And then when we get the call, I've had one of your officers come up, and it was actually Officer Fernandez who said, how many times are we going to have to keep answering 911 calls? What are we going to do? They get frustrated because we're doing what you tell us to do. So when we can handle it ourselves, we handle it ourselves, so we're not wasting your resources. No one gets arrested, no one gets injured, no one's going to jail. 9 times out of 10. Well, there's been a guy pepper sprayed because he tried to assault one of our guys. So don't say there's been a bunch of people injured.
I didn't say a bunch. I just said there was people injured.
Okay, and for us operating 24/7, 365 for almost 3 years, and you just got a couple, that means we're doing pretty good.
I know, but I guess my point is that if you were to see even the gentleman that drove through your camp, I know that I made you guys angry, but we said if you guys know where he's at, or if you figure out where he's at, let us know. But then the next thing we get is a report that now there's been a fight in the alley, and then this guy's down, and he's saying that he's assaulted.
Hey, so he came up on me in the alley, so I defended myself.
Yeah, but if you were standing from a distance and cold, that confrontation never would have occurred, though, right?
No, I didn't know he was coming up from the alley. I told you guys, it's in the report. I found his truck, I stood by his truck, he came up behind me to attack me, and I laid him out. That was it, and I didn't do nothing else. And then you guys came to detain him, and we cooperated with the detectives. And guess what? He's looking at 20-something years right now because he was guilty as hell. So, you know, at the end of the day, we do get results. Whether people like the way we got to them doesn't change. You don't have a bunch of victims here. You have people that are just, we're not taking their excuses, and we're going to go try to we're trying to give you guys all the information we can, and we just want those things answered if you can. Right. And then I'm going to be complete. If I got any major buildup or something going on, you guys know I will know. I will notify you. I don't want your guys worrying about that we got some big staging with a bunch of militias coming down. I'm only letting combat veterans lead my security teams, and I'm only letting veterans or prior law enforcement be on my security teams. And the rest of us are going to be unarmed walking through the desert. For every 5 people, we're going to have 1 person with a gun watching over them. And we're going to go through and search, and we're going to pick up trash along the way, you know, and we're going to do what we always do.
Well, and so any of these questions that I can answer, and any other information about how you can obtain video, any of that stuff, I'll gladly answer that stuff for you. That's not an issue. But the one thing I will say again is that just like any other private citizen, just like any other neighborhood watch, if you saw something that you suspected was criminal in nature, you would call us. That's what you did on Tuesday night. The officer went out, they photographed stuff. They didn't think that it was anything more than a homeless camp. We went back out again on Friday and Saturday. Well, we went back out on Friday and Saturday, and any of those evidentiary things that you provided to us, we have them, and we're forensically checking those. But again,
but the PD was called the very next day, and they said the report was made and that they weren't going to be coming out. And that call was made, no, on Wednesday, that call was made by Kelly Flores, one of my volunteers. And then CBI, okay, and a street neighbor, they do homeless outreach.
Right.
So you have a city service provider who does wonderful things in our community. They go and find these camps, and they're out there saying, look, this is not a homeless camp. You have a city service provider that knows homeless camps, and they're being ignored. And then we bring out the third tier, the experts in the human trafficking, the experts in tracking coyotes and stuff that's coming up from the border. And no one listens to all 3 of us. So, I mean, next time we call, I would just want to secure the scene. You know, and that would have stopped all this. You know what would have happened if you guys would secure the scene? What I would have done, you know, okay, they got it, Team 1's on it, and I would have went. Don't worry about it, Team 1's got it. They got the scene secured. But they didn't want to secure the scene, and the detectives didn't come the next morning. The call wasn't answered the next morning. They said they weren't coming out. So then it was FBI, no. DGDHS, no. Border Patrol, no. Sheriffs, no. We couldn't even get one sheriff deputy out there to help us. They say that they don't help you guys in your jurisdiction.
Typically, no, because of the investigative follow-up, it's jurisdictional. But basically, if something occurs in the city, our detectives will follow up on it. If something occurs in the county, their detectives will follow up on it. So typically, no. Unless it's some kind of like a dire emergency and officer needs immediate assistance, they typically won't overlap that way. But in any case, like I said, anything that we can answer for you, I gladly will get you an answer. The other side of it, again, like I said, is I don't want you guys out there being vigilantes. I appreciate the fact that you're looking for homeless veterans. I appreciate the fact that you're looking for people that are being abused or trafficked, one way or the other, whether human trafficking, sex trafficking, one or the other. But I also don't want to have to show up after somebody's been beat up because there was this confrontation when there was an opportunity to call us and have us respond. So.
Well, that guy ran through my camping truck and hit 2 homeless veterans and a female volunteer.
I understand it.
So by the grace of God, he attacked me in the middle of the night, and I was able to defend myself.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure that that's a rare occasion where you would have something like that. And you know that's why you can't name but maybe 1 or 2. The guy was pepper sprayed because he attacked our guys, and the guy that ran through our truck. And you know what? Those people don't come running through our truck camping anymore. Yeah. All right, we're going to go. Thank you. I'll follow up with the questions. If you can get it for me, that's fine. That's important.
Okay.
All right.
And so the certification of the dog, all that stuff?
All that stuff, too.
If it's DOC, and I'll find out what agency send the dog.
Okay.
And then you would have to follow with them because
And code enforcement is going to be making sure the fencing is done.
they're supposed to be doing
okay.
it. Yes, that's my understanding. So.
Thank you.
All right, man.
All right.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Bring the dog next time.
Yeah, I will.
Sorry, it was
Yeah. All right, you see that? Okay, right behind this building is Ward 5. That's the city. This is the ward we operate in. We're going over to Ward 5's office. we'll just let you guys hang on a minute since we're just going over there. Well, you saw the interaction for yourself, you know, and we are going full-blown search and rescue, and there is absolutely nothing that's going to stop us. I mean, we are going to do it. We can volunteer our own time. We can spend our own money to go do it. We can go out and help people. And yeah, there may be some times that, and it's not vigilante justice, it's just called street justice out here. There may be some times, and it's very few, that we've ever had to use hard defensive tactics. We're gonna go out here and make a left out of here, make a left at the light. Now, right next door over here, this is usually a once a month routine for me. I come in, I sit down, I give them notifications of what we're doing. I've been doing this for 3 years. So everyone come down, I want you to understand something. No matter what, whether or not we trust the entire government or anything like that, there are certain people inside my local law enforcement that I absolutely trust. And there are certain people, and I'm gonna take their advice and go about and do things a certain way so they can help give us credit, since the media and everyone's doing everything they can to discredit what really took place. And you see for yourself, okay? And now we know, turn here, that individual what says he was building because they got a soft spot for people coming from the border. Yeah, little perverts who want to traffic little kids and rape them and tie them to trees. That's why that camp was built. Not for poor little immigrants right here. Not for poor little immigrants that are coming up from the border. And he changed his story again. Live, he told you guys, you're gonna park over there. Live, he told you guys that he built it for the homeless. Then he said he built it for him and his wife. And now it's because they got a soft spot for people crossing. Well, I got a soft spot for him too. And I'm gonna build fobs all over the place. And there's gonna be no shackles where kids are trained to trees. And we're gonna take care of them the right way. And we're not gonna take no money from them or extort them or hold their children for ransom. We're just gonna get them the hell out of the area if they're innocent women and children that shouldn't be in that situation. All right? And I guess if that guy can go ahead and build a little camp so he can help the illegals crossing, guess what? We're doing the same thing. We're going to do the same thing. But we're going to build it so we can go. We're going to build a safe corridor. We're going to build a safe corridor on top of their route. We're going to have posts set up all along. And it's going to be a safe corridor where we're going to intercept everyone. Now we're getting ready to come into Ward 5. Hold on, actually, our guy's gonna take a smoke break for a minute. Yeah, go take a smoke break. Sorry, you gonna spend the 5-10 minutes where you can stand around and not do nothing. All right. Here, this is where we're at. Let's see. Yeah, it's still live. I don't read the comments, really. Sometimes I get to read them, but sometimes I get to read them. Oh yeah, you got people that say, "Oh, you guys are bullshit." You got other people that say it don't matter.
I had a lot of trouble holding my tongue when they said that they built it to make the kids more comfortable. Yeah, like straps on the rape trees.
Yeah, they built it to make the kids real comfortable because they weren't raping them or doing nothing on those trees. Yeah, I don't know what the restraints were for, but they definitely weren't for the kids.
Yeah, I was about to lash out, but I knew I didn't want to fuck up your line of questioning.
But see, at the end of the day, he's not the bad guy. Lieutenant Parker's awesome. Look, at the end of the day, Lieutenant Parker, he's by the book. What I do like about him is he is hardcore on the vigilante. He does not want anyone going out trying to act like they're cops and start arresting and doing all that other stuff. And he's absolutely right. That's not the way that you're supposed to do it. So we don't do that. But sometimes we end up in situations where it's coming at us and we don't have a choice. We have encounters dozens a day sometimes, and no one's getting hurt, no one's being chased, no one's getting beat up. But every now and then, because we're on the streets every day, you're going to have instances where you have someone who's coming at you. Someone could be in a drug psychosis. You could have someone with a severe mental illness. You might have accidentally stumbled upon their camp and they're coming at you crazy. That's when we go in and de-escalate. And we are so good with de-escalating without having to use any violence that you would hardly ever need to have a gun to do what we're doing. Our weapon is love and compassion. It's not a gun with a bullet. I mean, we do want to have those overwatching us because of the element of what we're tracking, because this is real. I'm telling you, they're going to find somewhere is going to be released. There will be child pornography pictures of children strapped to those trees. Okay? There will be evidence.
You can tell when you said that didn't hit them,
No.
The problem is there's no way to
They
release
just brought that thing up and set it out on display, Like, has anybody seen it, They can prove it back on it. They can look at it, Have you ever
I feel creative with this video.
All right, let's go. Now this is Ward 5. It's our city council.
Oh, use the intercom.
No, Mary's coming.
Boy, we have a whole group
Yeah. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm a little not mad at you guys, but I'm gonna want the.
Okay, so let me go get them.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Here, I'll go around and show you. And this is Richard Fenber. This is actually the council member over our ward. And those of you that are on politics and everything, this is a Democrat who's done so much to help our homeless veterans and our organizations, So, how's it going, Matt? We're doing a live video because of that sex camp, and we just left TPD, so we're trying to keep everybody exposed as to what's going on.
Okay.
On another thing, the homeless maps.
Yeah, I called them, and I will let you know as soon as I know.
You don't know nothing about it? Do you know about what's going on with the sex camp? Have you guys had any reports about what transpired out there at Valencia exit?
I saw the media reports.
Okay. Did you see? What's the reports that you guys have?
What do you mean? I saw the one where you were at the camps, and then subsequently that TPD has said that there was no evidence.
Yes, of human trafficking is what they said. That's not true. So we're letting you know, and just as we let TPD know, I do have a security team coming down because we're going to go clear the areas and make sure that we don't have any more of these trees set up where they're being restrained and being trafficked. If we encounter any women or children, we're going to take them escorted by our staff over to a sanctuary property, and we're not going to hand them over to ICE or anyone else. If they're women and children that are in a bad situation, we're taking them in, and we've got safe places to put them to where we can help get them legal in the system. I will want someone from your office that can oversee anyone we find that isn't there, and you guys to recommend whatever organization as an overwatch, so no one can say that we're finding women and kids and abducting themselves or sending them back. No, I want to have oversight, but I don't trust government oversight. I trust you guys' oversight.
So explain that to me again. So if you find somebody...
We find women and children, and they're being trafficked, okay? We do everything we can to get the women and children out.
Okay.
And then the bad guys that are doing it, we'll let BP and them handle those guys, okay? Those are that. But at the end of the day, we're going to not hand over the women and children that are in the area. We're going to go ahead and take them ourselves. We're not going to let ICE or no one else take them. We want to take them to a sanctuary property. And then we want to get the service providers and the organizations down to help them. Now remember, women, children, severely disabled. Those are the three criteria. Anyone else, I don't care. Border Patrol, ICE, do what you got to do. But we're going to go out there and we're going to get the ones. And we want to have someone to oversee when we do encounter and we pull in women and children.
That are homeless. or
anyone that are illegal. I don't even care, because at this day, if a child is going to be deemed illegal and can be tied to that tree, then there is no illegal child. So I don't even care. Any child or woman or disabled, regardless of their immigration status, if they're being trafficked and they're being abused and they're with these sick perverts, then we're going to take care of them, because no one else is doing that. Yeah. Okay, and they've been traumatized. So we've got a network of former victims who've been human trafficked, and we want to put trafficked victims with trafficked victims so they can start the healing process right away and start recovering from the trauma that they've experienced. And you know how I am when we go out with the homeless. It's the same approach. We're giving them the same compassion.
So what groups have you talked to about partnering?
The Phoenix Dream Center actually came down. The Phoenix Dream Center will take any of the females we have that are trafficked regardless.
I'm aware
and they are ready for them. Bikers for against child abuse. There was another biker group that deals with children. They're going to be helping with us, but we're looking for the children is the only issue. If we find minors and their parents aren't with them, okay, where can we send these minors to something that's not related to the government or ICE, a place where they'll be provided sanctuary, you know? Not saying that they can't come in and interview them and get their information, but they can't take them off the property.
Honestly, I'm not aware of a group. I mean, not to say that they don't exist, but let me look into that.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to look into that. Speaking of, I talked to Kelly yesterday.
Okay.
Kelly Forrest. So
all right. Okay. And are we work? Because I talked to Michael about I got to have a phone call ARC. So
yeah, they're next on my list. I talked to Kelly though, and she kind of told me the pros and wasn't many cons, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So all right.
All right.
Yeah, I'll make some phone calls though, because
see what you can find.
My area of expertise is not children. So, I mean, exactly.
Someone has to know someone, and we want them independent to where they can just take care of the mother and child. And if the child doesn't have a mother, and that's what I'm saying. We're not going to deny ICE or anyone access to them, but they're not going to be able to detain them and take custody of them, of the ones that we find, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, that's kind of outside of our scope, too. I mean, as far as just service providers for children who are unattended, I'll find out.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Bye. Some may not like our middle ground approach. We don't care. We're going to do it anyways. And we're notifying everyone how we're doing it. We're going to take care of everyone. Okay? This isn't an all or nothing. Like we said, not everyone coming up here are bad, and a lot of them are victims, and we're going to go and try to find them, and we're going to protect them. In the meantime, we're going to disrupt as much as we can. Now, my city is aware of what I'm getting ready to do, okay? And then we will have a national blast across, and it's not national really, but it'll go across our city through all our networks, okay? First off, we already have a massive security net in our city, and it's comprised of homeless individuals who are camped all around our perimeter, who know us, trust us, and they love us. Okay, and they watch and they see things that no one else sees. So we're working from our safety net out to secure any trafficking area, and we do have an active stash house that we need people to come out here and monitor and equip you with drones. And this is a pretty big one, and this is pretty solid intelligence, you know, but we're going to have a certain set of numbers of trained people for this particular one. So if you can come out, that's going to be great. That's it for right now. So you guys have seen us. We're going to do our follow-up with TPD. We're going to verify. We're going to get you all the information, and they're going to be facts. You're going to see as we go along, so then all the naysayers can just keep naysaying, because they're just going to ignore them. Who cares? You know, that's what we're trying to tell you guys. Those of you that believe, or if you're curious, we're going to keep this transparency. So keep coming out, because this is an official search and rescue operation, and we can literally take 200, 250 volunteers right now and put you on grids. Literally, you can be on a rotation on grids, and then we can start squeezing these sons of bitches and try to figure out where the rest of these children are being held and free them. Okay, and then Anonymous and everyone else. You guys seen pictures of that camp. Now, you got to remember, there was photo editor software and digital software for computers and stuff on discs that were down there. So there's a very high probability that child porn exists with that camp in its background somewhere. So then start finding that shit. Start looking for it, because it's going to exist. You will find pictures of children tied to that tree. That's without a doubt, because you don't set that up for anything other than that. So not only are they getting raped, but they're also being photographed, and somewhere out there is that evidence. So we want you guys to look hard, start digging, man. Every one of you guys that know how to hack, sniff this shit out, find it for us, because every piece we put together is another nail in their coffin, and once that coffin's sealed, then that's it. They have absolutely zero authority over zero anything, because the corruption's proved. And we do not have to, as citizens, be subservient to a tyrannical government that's going to sit there and protect individuals who are trafficking our kids and that are trafficking women and children. And that's where it is. No race, no religion, no politics. We are pushing forward. Everyone's welcome to come. We're here to save lives. If you don't like the fact that we're going to be helping women and children, it might not be legal, don't come. We don't want you here, because that's what we're going to do. All right, if you think we should be helping more than that and that we shouldn't turn the other ones over to BP, don't come, because that's not what we're going to do. We've told you exactly what we're going to do, exactly how we're going to operate it. The city knows, PD knows, and this operation is going on. So all volunteers, all call, keep coming. Thank you, guys.